Welcome back to FastFreddyRC, and today I'm announcing my official entry into the 2025 Pbrcsrc Speedrun Challenge. Now, before I talk about 2025, let me bring you back to last year when I did the 2024 Speedrun Challenge. At the time, when Phil announced that we would be using the MF-01X chassis, I hadn't actually ever built one of those before, and I had one sitting around and thought, you know what, I'm going to actually do this specifically for the Speedrun Challenge. So this whole paint job was specifically done for the Pbrcsrc Speedrun Challenge, which I absolutely love how it's turned out, and I'm in the middle of converting it back to a rally car. I've got the rally wheels back on it again. And I still have to do the height adjustments, etc., but we're getting there. But, and a lot of guys said this, with this paint job, they were really concerned that it was going to get wrecked up in the challenge. Well, I agree with them, and I didn't really want to damage this up myself either. So I may have been a little bit, maybe a little bit more concerned about actually doing something that would end up wrecking that body. So I probably didn't. But this year, as it's going to be a Grasshopper, and as this car right here is already a runner, I have decided that I don't mind if this gets damaged in any way. So we're going to play with this a little bit. We're going to do things a little differently with this one. So there's a couple of things to start with. I'm a little behind this year. I was hoping to do some of this before July 1st. Haven't got to it. So I'm just going to tell you what I'm planning on doing, and we'll go from there. So right off the bat, I want to know what the baseline is going to be. So this obviously runs the standard 380 motor that comes with this kit. Tamiya's slowest. I want to do a speed test and see what I'm actually getting out of this car. Now, I will be using the GNSS Performance Analyzer from SkyRC. This model is GSM020. If any of you guys are still trying to figure out what to use for the speed runs, this is awesome. I really like how the interface works with your phone. And it's easy to read, it's easy to use, and it's all GPS based. So this is a great tool. The only thing is, these are whole numbers. You're not going to see 37.2, 37.3. It's either 37, 38, 39. So that's the only thing if you're concerned about the points. But as a whole, I think this is a really great one. So worth checking out. That's SkyRC. So once we've done the 380 motor, we need to move up to the 540, because really that's where your standard baseline is going to be, is a 540 motor. So I'm going to put in a torque tune motor, and we're going to do another speed run and see what that comes out to be. Now those two tests are going to be with the Grasshopper completely stock. I'm not making any changes to it, nothing to the wheels, none of that. But once those two speed runs are done, we're going to change this up. So for one, I went and picked up the hex conversion kit from 2Mod. This is specifically for the Grasshopper. Even says 2Mod Grasshopper 12mm aluminum hex adapter, and says new. So this maybe is a new thing that they've come up with. And it comes with bearings and all the correct things for both the front and the rear. And we're going to do that because I'm going to be putting on the Louise Rocket tires. You can probably see those, and I love the tread pattern on the Louise Rockets. So there's the rear ones, and then I haven't taken the front ones out of the package yet, but there's the front ones. Now, probably I would say the reason I'm using these ones, Pbrcsrc did a fantastic video for a DTO3 trying to compare different tire compounds and different company models. These tires would hold. He was basically trying to do donuts, and I'll put a link to the video in the description. but he was trying to do donuts with the car, and these tires won't allow it. In other words, there's a lot of grip. And in fact, I don't know if it'll do it now, but because I've probably taken this off already. But when I took them out of the bag, they are unbelievably sticky. Like, they are going to hold. So these are the tires that I'm going to be using for this, using that 2-mod hex adapter kit. The next thing that we're going to do, and I don't know if it's going to really have any performance changes or make any performance changes, but I've always thought if we get rid of these pogo sticks, let's get some oil-filled shocks on here. So these ones here are specifically designed for the Grasshopper. They'll go inside those holes where the shocks go through, so it's built the same way, and it's all held on by E-clips at the top. So they're going to be a direct replacement, but that should stop a lot of the bouncing at the front. Now, being a speed run, if you've got a smooth enough surface, maybe it's not going to make any difference. I don't know, but I thought, hey, there's a reason to try and put on these shocks. Let's do it. So I'm going to be adding these oil-filled shocks. Now, once those are done, it's time to start playing with motors. So once I've got all of this installed, we're going to first put in the GT tuned motor, which I'm kind of curious to see. This is a, what is it? I believe it's a 19,000 RPM 25 turn motor. So we're going to add that, and we'll do another speed run. After that, we're going to put in the Superstock RZ motor and see what this one does. And I can't remember now what the turn or the RPM of this one is. Maybe it's 23,000 RPM? I can't remember now. But that's the motor that we're going to be working up towards to see what an RZ motor will do on a Grasshopper. Now, after that, depending on what sort of speed we get out of those, I may decide to buy another motor or try and do some other modifications to this to try and make it run faster, but I don't know yet. So far, everything you see there is exactly what I'm planning. The first two tests, for the speed run for the 380 motor and the 540, I will do a video showing the different speeds, but it's not going to be an official run of any kind. I will wait until I get the GT motor in to actually do an official run. So the video will come out with the 2 speed tests first, and then we'll start playing around with these motors and actually have official runs. But anyways, that is my plan for the 2025 Pbrcsrc Speedrun Challenge. Join me. Hopefully you learn something with this. I'm going to be curious just to see the different speeds from, going from a 380 all the way up to the RZ, and I might try to find a different motor for that as well. But again, I'm going on the brush categories. I've seen some incredible kits already that are like super modified. They don't even look like Grasshoppers anymore. And the speeds that people are getting out of them just is incredible for a Grasshopper. So kudos to all of you that are really taking this seriously and pulling it all apart. But in my case, I want to keep this as much the original Grasshopper as possible, but just modify enough things that maybe we can get some good speed out of it. So that's my plans. We'll see you out there, and until next time, we'll see you in another video.